I don't really want to be like I don't want this to be a boring discussion. I think that we should like keep it a little bit fresh. We're talking about beverages after all. I think that the best thing is I really hate short CVs. I hate reading bios and telling things about you. I think maybe it would be better if you talk about yourselves for like 1 or 2 minutes and explain to the people who you are. Alexandros, you want to go first?
I suggest
start
with our visitors.
I'm going to start with Fabio. Then I'm going to take it. Fabio, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, it works, no? Yes, yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Fabio. I'm the founder of Roy Kombucha. It's a kombucha brewery based in Berlin, and we work with Alexandros and Yamtails since 5 years already here in the Greek market. We, like I said, have our own brewery in Berlin, so we produce everything ourselves. Only 5 ingredients. For those of you don't know what kombucha is fermented tea. We're very happy to be here and see the growth that we've had over the last years in the Greek market. And I think that's 1 minute.
Yeah, that's great. Paddy?
Hi everyone. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Maybe you should put a little bit closer.
How about, is that good?
Yeah.
Too much. Is that working now?
Yeah.
Great. Hi everyone, I'm Paddy from Punchy Drinks. We make modern, full-flavoured hydration drinks. We're based in London. We've been going since about 2019. We're very excited to be entering the Greek market for the first time, working with Alex and the Yamtails team. We see a big opportunity in the future of soft drinks in the hydration space, trying to create healthy, fruity beverages that also have a nice functional twist. Really excited to be here, and it's nice to be out of London where the weather is not so good all the time. Yeah,
I think it's really hot, so that's a completely different scenery from London to Greece, like 22 degrees.
Exactly.
Alexandros?
Καλησπέρα σας. I'm Alex, the founder of Yamtails. Our mission is to change the landscape of the Greek beverages, to introduce all the innovative trends that we see in Berlin, in London, give the opportunity to the locals, but also to the tourists, to find healthy and really fascinating drinks. So I would like to invite everyone later on to come and to taste, because there's misconception in some cases that healthy, it's not so tasty. Believe me, it can be also tasty, and it can bring value to the HoReCa business, can bring value to retail business, and we see the rise of these years that we are behind Yamtails.
I think I'm going to start right away. I think Alexandros made a great point about health. We saw in the presentation, which was in Greek, and I'm sure that you didn't understand anything. But health is a really critical part of what the consumer wants, what the producer thinks the consumer wants, even the transporters, everyone thinks that health is in the middle. Fabio, do you see this? Do you think that beverages should go more to the healthy side of the consumer?
Yeah, I hope I understood everything that you said, because the sound is... I think obviously the health part, if we look at the big landscape, in Germany where we're based, but I think around the world, the vast majority is still consuming sugary industrial drinks. So even if we work or we're here with people who do something different, it's still a very, very small bubble. And I think we always have to be aware of this fact that whatever we're doing is still, very, very small compared to the masses. And I think we've seen it in food already with more animal-friendly options and in milk and such categories. But I think, or I would assume and hope, that in 10 years we're looking at sugary drinks the same way we're looking at smoking today. So because when you're just drinking in a traditional sugary drink, you're putting around 40 grams of sugar into your body. And if you have that in front of you, how much that actually is, ideally we would have the same picture we have on a cigarette pack, what it does to you on a standard traditional industrial sugary beverage. So I think it takes time, obviously. We have markets like the US or Australia, which are obviously further ahead and quicker. But I think in Europe, especially the UK, and then in mainland Europe, there is, the awareness is for sure growing, but it's not as quick as probably we would hope or other people would hope, but for sure it's going in that direction.
I'm trying to imagine my father, who is like 75, going to the supermarket to buy sugar and watching a picture of this is what it does to you, it destroys. My father's going to throw it down and continue smoking and all that stuff. Paddy, what about you, and what do you think about health in the beverage department?
Yeah, I think the demand is definitely there. I think the thing that, to your point, you need to nail is taste. Taste is king, and that's the biggest, driver to repurchase. So you need to make sure first and foremost the product tastes good. But yeah, I think post-pandemic consumers are increasingly, health conscious and very aware of what they're putting in their bodies. So healthy products are becoming very, very popular. I think the challenges that we face are, the bigger brands have all the money, they've got higher margins, so it's difficult for buyers to justify, in many cases, putting on a higher price point, lower margin product. However, there's amazing innovation in the market, from gut health to CBD. All those brands are doing incredibly well. And I think there's a bit of a groundswell that's being created as a result of all that innovation. So hopefully it's a matter of time, and I think soon there'll be a bit of a tipping point in supermarkets and in categories, which is already starting to happen in places like the US and the UK. So yeah, I think there's definitely demand, but these things take time.
Alexandre, what is your position, especially in Greece, for example? I think that we have a really good view of the Greek market.
For me, about our market, it's extremely interesting the fact that we have all the fruits, we have majority of our own production, and we still using in the production of the beverages that they are served, the local ones, especially sugar, white sugar. I don't get it. The moment that we can substitute sugar with apple juice, with grape juice, and to maintain the taste levels and to have a sweet and interesting product, but at the same time protecting the health of the consumer. So I don't think it's a crazy innovation that you can substitute sugar with the natural sugars that they occur from natural source, and you have very, very interesting beverages. So I think that it's crucial to see a shift on the way that we are thinking, because we need to protect young generations. If you see the obesity levels in Greece, it's crazy. I think we're in the third position all over the world. So something is wrong. And I think that we need to act, and we need to decide, because it's from our side that we present. We have producers, we have distributors, but at the end of the day, all the key accounts, all the people that they are behind the key decision, they need to give space to healthy and innovative solutions that they exist.
Paddy, there is a difference between producing a beverage and selling a beverage. What is your standpoint on this? Because I see this a lot. A scientist is going to get excited, R&D gets excited, oh, we made these beverages, and then you try to sell it, and it's a completely different story. How do you handle this dichotomy?
Well, we have an amazing ops lead who's sitting in the audience who manages most of the production stuff, which is fantastic because it leaves me to do selling and marketing with the rest of the team. I think from our perspective, we try not to take ourselves too seriously. We're trying not to be a very functional brand. We want to, draw people in with a healthy, kind of flavoursome, message, but not bore people with functional messages, if that makes sense. So yeah, we try and, have some fun with it. We were massively inspired by a lot of the craft beer success stories in the UK. And in the same way you see Brewdog, Beavertown, Camden on, beer fixtures in the UK, we've stolen a lot of the strategies that they used in that space and are trying to apply them to soft drinks. So, the other day we were dressing up as love doctors on Valentine's Day, handing out cans saying, don't go thirsty this Valentine's Day. So yeah, I think a lot of it for us is just trying not to take ourselves too seriously, add a bit of vibrancy to what is quite a serious, kind of boring category. And yeah, just try and have fun along the way and let Toby manage all the operations headaches in the background.
Fabio, I think Paddy made a great point about the fun aspect. Consumers, especially younger consumers, want to be entertained. no more the boring advertisement that our parents grew up with. Do you see this in from your point of view?
Yeah, I think that is absolutely the case, and I think it starts with the packaging. Obviously, I think there is always a certain behavior that the customer has. He sees something in the shelf that needs to attract him by the look and feel. And then obviously the fun part should also be represented in the taste, and because that's then the decision factor that will define if the product comes back and buys it again. And so I think, as you can see in the portfolio of Yumtails, for example, but at other places as well, the shelves become more colorful, they become more appealing, and for sure the consumer doesn't want to just, hydration in that sense. He wants something more. He wants a lifestyle. He wants a statement. Especially the younger generations, they use products that they buy as a statement compared to their friends or peers. So I think that feeling of I'm consuming something that is better than the usual, but it's still cool. It still feels fun and cool. I think that's a very important mix. Yeah.
I see, Alexandre, I see right here your colors. I mean, is coolness a decisive factor in the beverage?
The decision is taken in 3-4 seconds. If you do not have colors, it's impossible. Regarding first, you need the right lighting, so it's another case. But generally speaking, I think it's crucial to have the right colors in order to attract for, let's say, a glimpse of the eye, and then to have the taste, the healthy aspect and everything. I don't think that health argument or organic, it's the key factor on the decision of the end consumer. I think it's a total package. I think we are living in a global world. Social media is what Fabio mentioned. I think young people, they are looking for a total solution. But they would like to hold something that's cool, it's good for me, it's good for the planet. So it's multidimensional. I think this is the key and the aspect that every single innovative brand or cool brand must have under consideration.
We saw, Alexandre, I'm going to pick it up again with you. We saw in the research that the producers believe that the end consumer is not informed. So that the consumer is not informed about beverages. Why do you think this happens?
It's a tricky question because if we split the research in which group, and it's a little bit, I would say, part of the truth. And I'm really concerned if the producer is well informed on what's going on in the world, how often it travels, goes to London, goes to Berlin, it goes to international fairs to see what's going on. How much time does it spend in order to see what's going on in social media? So it's a tricky question, and I don't want, let's say, to put a label on what's going on. I think the consumer, we're in an era that it's extremely well informed, or it can find extremely fast the right answers about what it consumes. Mobile is part of our hand. So to be honest with you, I do not agree with this point. We see here in Greece so many health issues. There are various researchers that they say that there are around 20 or 30% they have lactose-free issues. They ate yesterday night feta, and now they feel that their stomach, they're a little bit, they are not feeling really well. So lactose is a serious issue. And they do not know. So there are so many things that I think not even a single research can make the clear point where we are, but I think my clear point is I think that young generations, they search for everything and they make more conscious decisions rather than older people.
So, Paddy, I'm going to take the question to you, and I'm going to let you know that half of the producers believe that the end consumer is not well informed about beverages. Now, in this crazy era of social media, where we're getting bombarded with thousands and thousands of messages, can this really be the case?
Can this what, sorry?
Can this be the case? Can the consumer not be informed?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's easy for us to assume that consumers are well informed because drinks is what we live and breathe, and we have to keep reminding ourselves in our team that not everyone knows what electrolytes are. They don't know lots about minerals, vitamins, and so on. And actually, when a customer is doing their weekly shop, they've got a big list of things they need to buy. They've got kids being a nightmare, and they just want to get in and out of a supermarket. So they're making decisions quickly. They're making them based on value. Drinks are a low priority, probably in the grand scheme of their life. So I think it's up to brands to try and add a bit of vibrancy, add some fun to their fridges, to their lifestyles, and try and interrupt that in a fun, engaging way rather than a way that is boring or tedious. But I totally agree. Consumers are poorly informed. However, in counter to that, there is a big movement towards healthy beverages. So I think it is changing. The landscape's changing, but by and large, people are still, poorly informed.
I want to take this point, Fabio, to you, because you mentioned that maybe beverages in 10 years will be like cigarettes. They're no sugar. Do you think that this information should be dumped down for the consumer, meaning that the information of this is good for you, this is not, should be like so straightforward for the consumer because he or she doesn't have the time to research?
Yeah, I think the responsibility also lies in the shops, right? In the retailers, in the cafes, because at the end of the day, the consumer, we all know the time is limited, etc. So when he wants to make a purchase or when he looks at a shelf, I think he also expects a certain decision making or a certain selection that has already been made in hopefully the benefit for him or her. So I think the issue is also if there is no options, obviously people will not easily proactively ask for it. So I think the responsibility lies in the suppliers to offer these options and make people aware, like, okay, you can buy this, but look, you could also buy this. And we see this success, for example, in the Netherlands. One of the largest retail chains has very successfully implemented dedicated better for you sections. They obviously still have the traditional ones, but showcasing that they're actually also caring for their consumer, because at the end of the day, we all know that drinking a traditional soda is not good for you, especially when you drink 2 or 3 of them. So I think it's also, the responsibility to provide these options and help the consumer to be informed. And but at the end of the day, it's always also a financial challenge, like Paddy was saying. The more, let's say artisanal or more organic, more natural products offer, at the beginning at least, less margins. But we all know it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I think also 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago, you were smoking on planes, and today you're not smoking on planes or wherever. So it takes time. Yeah.
I think the smoking on planes is a great example of how things change. Fabio, I'm gonna stay with you. There is a lot of talk about AI. Everywhere you look around, everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, like we all know what it is and what it is doing. Throughout the research, and the one that we're gonna see tomorrow and on Monday, producers, retailers, everyone is claiming that they really do not take advantage of technology. As a producer, how can you take advantage of technology and, better your products? What can you do you believe?
I mean, we have our own production, so we produce everything in-house. And luckily, until today, we've done what we like, and it's worked out pretty well in that sense. So we're pretty pragmatic. We're not doing some crazy research or helping or getting help from tech to develop our products. I think we only have 5 ingredients, and for example, when we do our raspberry kombucha, there's raspberries in there and nothing else. So people are sometimes confused when they just see raspberry on the ingredients, and yeah, there's no colorants, there's no artificial stuff. It's just tea, water, sugar, and raspberries. So I don't know if I can answer this question extensively, because I think that's exactly what we're doing. We want to go away from complicated stuff that maybe AI is telling us to do, back to something that is just natural and nature creates, in our case through fermentation. I think the AI topic or technology topic can help more on the marketing, on the awareness side, and maybe integrating that on in this area. But from a product point of view, we actually want to be as simple and as natural as possible. Yeah.
Paddy, I'm going to focus on natural. I really liked the natural part. Does natural mean going back to methods that were like the old-fashioned way in the producing department? Do you feel that this is a natural way?
I suppose so, yeah. I think there's a lot of shortcuts that have arisen in, mass production and so on. At the same time, efficiency is key. But yeah, I think, I've read a book on ultra-processed food recently, and it's really simple. If there's something you can't pronounce on the ingredients list, then it's probably not good for you. And, we've tried to avoid all of those things in our ingredients list and just keep things simple. And natural ingredients can taste good if you use them correctly and in the right balance. So, yeah, definitely agree with that.
Alexander, do you see this as well? Do you see that I really like, if you cannot pronounce something, you're afraid of it? Do you see this from your point of view? The technology is not really in favor of the producing so much?
See, we have the Greek producers and we have the international producers. I hope that the Greek producers, they will start looking a little bit more what's going on in Europe, and to start investing a little bit more in more clever ways on improving or, let's say, advancing the offerings. The moment that we have our own production, as a market that we have so many fresh fruits, I'm confused why we not follow or just copying. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's not something crazy. The moment that we have our own production as a country, I think it's really, really important to start thinking out of the box, reducing sugar, putting grape juice, putting, watermelon juice as a base. Watermelon is a huge trend in US and other countries. So there are so many things that we can do in order, I think, to provide healthier options.
I'm going to have one last question. Fabio, I'm going to start with you. If you could magically change anything in the beverage industry, what would you change? You have a magic wand, pop, you can change whatever you want.
That's a tricky question. There's many topics, right? From sustainability to health to how it's produced. I would probably take away the monopoly, let's say, or the structures that are so ingrained in the system that are so hard to break through as a challenger brand, I think. So just making those barriers loose in that sense, so that you can have these conversations in a more open way, and that those structures that have been built over dozens of years are open in a way, so that, because at the end of the day it's a free market, so it's not that I'm saying somebody is bad or somebody is better, so at the end of the day the consumer should decide. But I still think that there is some unfair methods sometimes where you don't even have a chance to have a proper discussion about a new product. So I think let's say have a bit more fairness in the structure of the industry. Yeah,
it's a free market, but it is a little bit more free for someone else. That's what I always think.
Yes.
Paddy, what about you? What would you change in the beverage sector?
I'm glad I had a bit more time to think about that question, my answer. Can I have two? So my first one would be remove plastic. I think plastic's a terrible thing for our, environment and so on. And then my second one would be to remove Coca-Cola. That would free up a lot of space for some challenger brands.
Talking about a free market for someone and not so free for someone else.
Exactly.
Alexandre, last but not least.
You don't have to add something. I think Paddy and Fabio mentioned the most critical ones. So they have before the magic wand in order to take the decision as magicians. I think it's crucial the sustainable aspect. Plastic, it's everywhere. You have seen, because it's your topic, the research is about microplastics. They are everywhere. So we're polluting the planet with a tremendous rhythm. So sustainable materials, it's part also of our mission. You see, we do not have PET. It's glass and cans, which they are crucial, I think, for the future, and also sugar. I think sugar, it's crucial to be removed from the beverages that we see. It's the majority in every single market.
Well, on this note, I want to thank you very much for being here. Thank you to everyone who watched. I hope that you enjoyed. Right on time.
Thank you.